It is the new hot electric vehicle stock, Nikola, roaring higher. It is now up 96% since its June 4th debut. At one point last week, it had a market cap bigger than that of Ford Motor. Joining us now is Trevor Milton, founder and executive chairman of Nikola Motors. Trevor, great to have you with us.
Thanks for having me, for sure.
I wanted to ask you about this crazy roller coaster ride for your stock, and it's a roller coaster only going up, it seems, so far. But you're a company right now with a market value that is approximately 8 times the revenue that you're projected to make in 2024. Do you have any comment on the valuation of your stock?
Yeah, I mean, I think the world's changed a lot in the last year. You saw the coronavirus hit the whole world, and one of the major issues they had was respiratory problems. Actually, was a greater effect on the virus itself with people. So, investors are rewarding people out there right now that are changing the world, reducing emissions. And I think Nikola's a unique company because we're targeting the second largest polluting industry in the world, the trucking industry, and we're the first zero emission semi truck on the NASDAQ listing market. I mean, a company that's actually only focusing on zero emissions with heavy duty trucks, and that's it. And that's why you see such a good response so far.
When will you actually have a product in the market?
So we have trucks coming off the assembly line right now. That's a question a lot of people ask. So we have a factory in Ulm, Germany, and those trucks are being hand built right now on those factories. And they start testing. They're going to be out testing all this year, all next year, and then we enter into production next year. So we're less than a year out from production and revenue. So I think that's why people were excited about the future of Nikola. It's kind of like getting in early on some of these zero emission car companies. People finally get a chance to do that.
Right. And so right now it's sort of that long haul trucking industry that you're going after with this main product. But you've also got a consumer product, which you say you would like the Badger, which is a consumer product, to overtake the Ford F-150, which, of course, is a best selling pickup truck. And a lot of the hype in the stock happened around the time when you tweeted that you're taking reservations for this because consumer demand was so brisk. I'm wondering how you sense what the consumer demand is if you're only just taking reservations now and the reservations are free.
Yeah, so, well, they won't be free, by the way, but it is awesome. I mean, this is how it works. Nikola's main revenue stream is the semi-trucks. We can make about $750,000 or more in revenue per truck we sell, which is almost 5 times what our competitors make per truck. And that's because we actually include all the fuel with it that we own and we manufacture the hydrogen fuel. So that's the way we make all the money. And the way that we touch the consumers is through our pickup truck, the Badger. And the Badger really is the coolest electric pickup in the world. And you can order it battery electric or hydrogen electric. And it's the first pickup truck in the world that can go over 600 miles on a single charge. That's really why, for zero emission. That's why I think you see the excitement is the truck is our revenue model and the Badger is going after the Ford F-150 crown and the way we touch all the consumers around the world.
Are you going to make money off of the Badger? And I asked that because you said, oh, yeah. OK, so what is the price point of the Badger and how does it stack up to the Cybertruck from Tesla?
Yeah, so the Badger is between about 60 and 90 grand. It's a little more expensive than you would see with the Tesla Cybertruck. But we're not really competing against it because our truck is a true pickup truck. It's the size of an F-150. It's used for job sites. It has a 15 kilowatt power export, so you can power drills and saws and an entire job site. It's got all the doors for a family. You can put car seats in it. You can put a 4-wheeler in the back. It's really a true truck like the Americans are used to, and so that's why it's a little bit different. But it's very profitable. The Ford F-150 program is one of the only programs in history that's always been profitable, even in bad years.
How many reservations have you gotten so far for this Badger?
How
much are you collecting per reservation?
Yeah, so the reservations open up on June 29th, and they range anywhere from $250 up to $5,000 for a reservation. So we actually do charge for the reservations, and I think it's going to be. We'll come back on your show right after that June 29th. We're going to see some really cool numbers. I'm excited from the response we've already had.
Okay, let's talk about the semi-truck because that sounds like it's really going to be the bread and butter for your business, at least in the near term. You've got a $10 billion backlog, I understand, led by companies like Anheuser-Busch, who's already made some commitments to wanting those trucks to deliver their goods. How does it stack up in terms of fuel costs? I understand hydrogen fuel cells may be lighter in the weight, but the cost for hydrogen, as I understand it, is a lot more than electric, and the infrastructure isn't there either in terms of charging stations.
Yeah, really good points. So first of all, hydrogen, it does take more energy to produce hydrogen than it does to charge a battery electric truck. But the advantage you get with hydrogen is you're building all your hydrogen stations on the interstate freeways, where you're able to source your energy directly and pay under 4 cents a kilowatt hour for energy. When you charge your truck, say a big semi truck that's electric in California, your cost will be somewhere right around about 30 cents a kilowatt hour. So that's nearly seven or eight times the cost per kilowatt hour inside of California or other cities than you would with the Nikola hydrogen. So even though hydrogen is a little less efficient, it's much cheaper to it can be cheaper to operate than battery electric.
I'm sorry. So you're saying that if you charge the truck, the semi truck outside of California, then it's more. So in certain markets, does it not make sense to have that hydrogen fuel cell truck?
So the hydrogen fuel cell is all based upon one specific market, and that's what we call the long haul distribution. So it's where it really makes sense because weight is everything and fill times are everything. You need to run your truck 3 shifts, 8 hours a day, essentially all the time. And that's where hydrogen really makes sense, where it's lighter. It can run 3 shifts or 2, but the battery electric's only going to really run 1 shift a day, because if you're charging them really fast, it'll actually degrade and ruin the battery. And if you're charging your if you look at cost comparison of a battery electric versus hydrogen, battery would be cheaper if you were paying the same rate on energy, but you don't, because the battery electric truck, you're paying the utility for energy. The hydrogen, we actually control all the energy through the federal transmission line, so we can get energy really cheap.
Okay. Your business model, as you mentioned, is interesting because you're basically selling these trucks to companies like an Anheuser-Busch, and you're packaging everything along with it, services as well as the fuel costs, et cetera. And this would be on a lease basis, correct?
Yeah, it's very similar to Amazon or Verizon. Like you think about, you buy a cell phone, all the towers are included, right? You don't need to worry about contracting with towers. Well, today, if you think about trucking right now, you have to buy fuel from different people. You have to buy service from different people. It's really complex. Nikola is the only company in the world that's consolidated all into one. Very similar to Amazon. If you want to buy say you want to buy a new pair of shoes, one click of a button, they take care of the merchant, they take care of the seller, they take care of the shipping, they take care of the returns. It's all done and simplified. And that's the first time this has ever been done in trucking. And that's why Nikola, you've seen such a response around the world, is the generation that's investing now, they care more about the environmental impact of what you're doing than they do you're 6 months or 8 months from revenue. They don't care. They're like, you know what? You're changing the world. You're going to reduce emissions more than anyone else. We're invested into you. So
of the different buckets, the truck, the fuel, the services, where's your room to increase the margin over time? Where do you see the biggest leverage?
It's all in the hydrogen. We're really an energy technology company. We sell the energy to consumers, not consumers, but businesses that are buying the trucks. That's where the money is. Obviously, we want to reduce the cost of our truck, but we're now cheaper to drive than a diesel is per mile, and we make 5 times the revenue of our competitors. So it's awesome. I mean, that's why Nikola's really cracked the chicken and the egg.
And so as you get that cost of hydrogen, which as I understand it is now, what, $2 per kilogram, according to a recent presentation, as you get that down, your customers won't expect to have those cost savings as well?
No, they do. So that's the idea is right now.
So then how do you make more money if you're constantly giving them breaks because you're getting the price of hydrogen lower?
Well, you don't give them breaks on everything you get. You give them a locked-in rate for 7 years, and then anything that we can drive down the cost in that 7 years is given to us.
Got it. Okay. Trevor, I think we have a date on June 29th.
I cannot wait. And by the way, I'm so excited. So not only am I going to make sure I come back with you guys in June 29th, but Nikola World is going to be announced June 29th, where we actually show off the Nikola Badger in live person for the whole world to see. I want to make sure you guys are there front row and center. I'll get you guys tickets, and it'll be one of the greatest shows you've ever seen in your life.
Is it going to be worthy of Elon Musk unveiling one of his products?
I can promise
you. That's the comparison, right? That you're basically the next Elon Musk. Do you like that?
I like to think about the fact that I'm Trevor, not Elon. But I can tell you this: it'll be a better show than you've ever been to in your life, for any other automotive show in the world.
All right, Trevor, great to speak with you. See you June 29th.
Thanks so much.
Trevor Milton, founder of Nikola Motor. Guy, what do you think?
Couple things. I mean, what he said a lot of amazing things. I missed chemistry or physics in high school and college, so I can't speak intelligently about the technology. But what he did say is interesting. The investing public wants to hear that you're changing the world. He just spoke about ESG in a nutshell, which is why this stock probably can continue to go higher. I mean, I hear hydrogen and I think of May of 1937. BK might remember that. Of course, the old Hindenburg, and I get a little bit scared, but maybe the technology has come a long way since. But what he mentioned is the exact reason the Exxons and the Chevrons are having so much trouble, and names like this are going parabolic. I don't think, as much as you would love to fight against this for a number of reasons, I think this story has legs.
Yeah, Tim, quickly.
Well, I think you have a case where you've got a story that you defined the three different buckets of revenue streams, and it's very different, for example, than Tesla. What's interesting about the valuation, also really tough to get behind, but at least they're doing things that they have it. I don't have to believe in the value of autonomous or data or technology, which is that makes Tesla a tech play, and I don't think that's what we're trying to do here is necessarily compare them, but the valuation that's still pretty unattainable right now, I think, for people to get comfortable with. But I do think the things they're doing very differently. They're outsourcing their production. So, all questions about deliveries or what they can deliver, truly, I don't think are issues. I think if you look at the stock, there's some dynamics here that have also had something to do with why the stock has run the way it has, including it's essentially been a reverse share into a SPAC structure, which doesn't have the same liquidity. And ultimately, you've had a case where you have this massive short squeeze, and I think that's been a big part of the dynamic here. But it's a very exciting story, and it's a very different story.